Well, with less than 2 months to go until the election, candidates are focusing on the all-important swing states, one of which is now North Carolina. Former President Trump, as I said, will be speaking there in just a few hours. Back in 2020, North Carolina was the only swing state that Donald Trump won over President Biden by a little more than 1%. And today, the state's first batch of absentee ballots were to be mailed out, but that is now delayed, as Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s name is still on them. NewsNation's Robert Sherman is following these developments. He is live for us in Charlotte. And Robert, Trump will be making another visit to that state.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how the landscape has changed here in the Tar Heels state, Nichole. I mean, just a couple of months ago, this was a state that was leaning heavily to the right, and it looked as though the former president had it as close to in the bag as you could. But since the change up atop the ticket for the Democrats, this will now be the fourth time the former president has come here to North Carolina to be on the ground and speaking here. And the importance of North Carolina cannot be understated, because this is the purple state that has gone the way for the Republicans many, many times over the last 40 years. You go back to 1980, Republicans have carried the state every presidential election, with the exception of 2008, when Barack Obama was able to bring home the state's electoral votes. But this go around, you see the way that things are shaping up between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump. The latest Decision Desk HQ average of polls, razor thin here in the Tar Heel state, less than a percentage point separating both of these candidates here. And the reason North Carolina is so important is, as you stated, Nichole, this is the swing state that the former president put into his column in both 2016 and 2020. And if he doesn't bring it home this go around, it could cause problems for his electability. Take a listen.
If Harris wins North Carolina, I think it is very likely she has won the general election. Harris can afford to lose North Carolina. I don't think Donald Trump can afford to lose North Carolina.
It comes down to a math game, realistically, Nichole, in order to get to 270 electoral votes. And for the Trump campaign, shortest path to victory is hold everything from 2020, flip Georgia, flip Pennsylvania. But if there's a crack in the armor in a state such as North Carolina, that makes the road to the White House a bit longer. Nichole.
All right, so Robert, today ballots were supposed to be mailed out in North Carolina. That has been delayed. Tell us what's happening there.
Yeah, so to give you the 40,000-foot view here of all the context, over the last year, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has been fighting for ballot access in many of these states. He secured it here in North Carolina, but now that he's backed out of the race and endorsed former President Trump, he's trying to get his name removed from the ballot. Up to this point, unsuccessfully. These were the ballots that were supposed to go out today, and they did have Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s name on them, along with former President Donald Trump and his running mate, J.D. Vance. But just today, a ruling came down from the appeals courts here in North Carolina, putting a pause on all of this, asking for ballots to not be sent out today, granting Robert F. Kennedy Jr. an effective victory in courts. Now, that's not necessarily the end-all, be-all. The Election Commission has not said either way if they're going to appeal this ruling or not. All we know is that for the time being is that while ballots were supposed to be mailed out today with RFK Jr.'s name on them, that is not happening until further notice. Nichole.
All right, not happening until further notice. All right, Robert Sherman live on the ground there in North Carolina. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.